New tonight at 10, a TEA investigation into the special education program in Pampa reveals disturbing details.
One family says their autistic son was restrained and traumatized by teachers and staff at the junior high. ABC 7's Morgan Burrell has the story.
Documentation from Pampa ISD indicates that on November 6th last year, 11-year-old Gabe Denson was restrained by 5 adults. He says it was his first day at school.
I was getting really frustrated. I put my head down and they said that it was against the rules.
Documents reveal that Denson, who's autistic and is diagnosed with Asperger's, was physically restrained 15 times over the next 66 days.
There were like 4 full-grown men holding me down.
According to an investigation by the Texas Education Agency, Gabe repeatedly exhibited problematic behavior that the school tried to address. Gabe's mom, Kimmy, says she feared the last restraint documented by the district might land Gabe behind bars for assault. Ultimately, no charges were pressed against him.
Our world started spinning out of control. We were like, what is going on?
Kimmy says she met with the district attorney and Gabe's probation officer. The Gray County Juvenile Probation Office tells ABC 7 that with the school's consent, police decided not to file any charges when the family announced they would move out of town.
My instinct was just to protect Gabriel, get him away from that, get him out of that whole entire mess. And so we came to Missouri where we are.
That's also when Kimmy reached out to a disability rights attorney to file a complaint with the Texas Education Agency.
The use of physical restraints can be dangerous to the student involved, both physically and emotionally. Anytime we put our hands on kids, that could potentially cause trauma to them.
Colleen Elby, an attorney with Disability Rights Texas, works to protect students like Gabe. She says the use of restraint on students with disabilities happens every day.
And it's a topic that Disability Rights Texas across the state looks at, is concerned about, and is continually trying to work to end.
So LB started to put together a report with 2 allegations. The first,
the district did not do their part in appropriately evaluating the behaviors that were occurring, that were leading to those physical restraints, and didn't do enough interventions to prevent those behaviors from escalating.
Ultimately, the TEA found this allegation was not substantiated. It found that the school did develop a plan to address the students' classroom needs, but Gabe was pulled out of school before appropriate changes could be made.
The district didn't have enough time to work with the student to change up the behavioral interventions and supports that were being provided, to figure out which ones were working or which ones were not working.
The second allegation asked the Texas Education Agency to look into the physical restraints that Gabe experienced.
The allegations in this particular request for investigation was that the physical restraints that occurred were outside the scope of that very narrow reasons through state law that school districts can physically restrain students.
This came as a shock to Gabe's parents because even though they met several times with the district to discuss his behavioral issues, there was never discussion about the use of restraints. And the TEA found there was no documentation that PISD spoke to the parents about the restraints either.
It totally blindsided us because we had the wool pulled over our eyes the whole time.
According to the TEA investigation, the district did not dispute allegations of Gabe being physically restrained, but PISD made necessary changes to their special education programs before the agency ordered them to.
This was a first on one of my TEA complaints.
ABC 7 gave PISD Superintendent Tanya Larkin multiple opportunities to speak on camera. Instead, she offered an emailed statement that reads, Pampa ISD denies there was any abuse of power related to the education of Gabriel Denson, denies Pampa ISD failed to follow the student's individualized education program, denies any physical abuse occurred, and denies notice or information of alleged abuse or trauma was ever communicated to Pampa ISD. Gabe's parents say their son is suffering from PTSD because of everything he went through in Pampa.
The twinkle in his eye is gone. It's hard for us to even talk about it and work through it because you've got this child that's so confused about what happened. How do you explain what happened?
In Pampa, Morgan Burrell, ABC 7 News.
In May, the district announced a new director of special education. Superintendent Tanya Larkin says the change in leadership was not connected to the TEA investigation.
To read the district's full statement and take a look at the TEA investigation, you can head to the website, abc7amarillo.com.